What are your worst high school reunion stories? I had a crush on a girl in high school and always regretted not taking the chance and asking her out. Find out years later that she is a lesbian. 5 minutes into the reunion she leans over and tells me that she had a big crush on me in high school and that I was the only guy she would have dated. Edit. At the time the statement didn't compute, and basically replied same here. She is probably one of the nicest people I know, the type of women that you realize you should have married. I stopped regretting my choices when I found out she was a lesbian. It was a strange ego acid trip to find out that there was a possibility my life could be different because someone was indifferent to my gender. TLDR, and that is how I met your mother. Just had my 5-year this past July. There were a few golden moments, but the best was when the popular girl came to talk to me. I had seriously never spoken a word to this girl in my life, nor had she to me. She said, "I don't even know why I came here, everybody hated me in high school. I was such a bitch. Sorry, by the way." Still not sure if she was apologizing to the right person, but I appreciated it on behalf of my fellow nerds. She really was a bitch. I was hoping to meet up with the girl I dated through HS but she didn't show up. When I asked around I found out she died a couple years earlier. I went to high school with John Mayer. He did not bust down the double doors. Not worst, not even mine actually. My dad was going to go to his 30th, maybe 35th or something like that, I'm not entirely sure, with my mother but she really didn't want to go. Instead, he took my friend's dad. They went as gay lovers and pranked the hell out of everyone. Best way to go, in my opinion. Went to my 10-year reunion 8 years ago. Shoot, that long. My fellows nerds who had been away from the town gaining a worldview gathered on the outskirts of the venue. The educationally stunted popular students who had never left and still socialized with each other every weekend took over the bar and dance floor. The old social hierarchy was re-established. Nothing had changed. In high school I was about 200 pounds, I'm 125 now, I got made fun of for being fat, I never wore makeup and I just wasn't very attractive. 5 years later, I've taken care of myself over the years, lost the weight, figured out how to dress and fix myself up. That really popular girl that was a size 2 in high school that made the most fun of me was at my reunion and she was rockin' a 100+ pound weight gain. I got an email about my 10-year reunion from a guy I couldn't quite remember. I had to look him up on Google. Turned out he was big time into furries and plus highs. He had some interesting convention pics. Learned something new that day. I feel like I am the only one who actually didn't mind high school. Glad I am done with it, but it was a good time. I haven't had my reunion yet, but I am looking forward to it. It will be interesting to see who has died in the past 10 years. And every subsequent reunion after that, I will treat it as a game. A game of survival, where the last person standing wins at the last reunion. Homeschooled all 4 years of high school. Every morning I wake up is a high school reunion. Edit, I just realized how much that statement makes me want to go kill myself. 5-year reunions. What is this? I'm going to my 10-year reunion and it's the first the class has had. Give yourselves some time to grow. Not necessarily worst, but most WTF, 5-year reunion. One girl has popped 7 children out of her vagina. WTF. At my 20-year reunion I managed to finally down a fifth of whiskey in front of everyone, but the woman I like still ended up with the douche she was hoping to run into at the reunion instead of me. I went to my 5-year high school reunion with a friend of mine I hadn't seen in years. She battled with eating disorders and cocaine addiction in high school, but I was oblivious and forgiving. So we meet to drive up in her car. She is 30 minutes late, and we stop at Dunkin' Donuts where she uses the restroom for almost 20 minutes. As we're driving up, she is falling asleep at the wheel, so I offer to drive. She says she was up late the night before. I get there and we part ways for the day. When we meet back up to drive home around 10 p.m., we stop at the gas station. She drank at reunion, so I was driving. She goes into the rest stop while I'm at the pump, and she takes so long that I have to park the car in a spot to go inside. The gas attendant comes running out and thinks I'm going to drive away without her. She says she's on the floor of the handicapped stall passed out. I run inside and crawl under this nasty stall to find my friend passed out on her face, pants around her knees, and a needle on the floor. I threw it all in the garbage. I threw anything in her purse in the garbage. I picked her up and then she woke up. She was so out of it. She walked around the store for 10 minutes before she would get back in the car. I buckled her in and she passed out, leaned forward the whole way home. I drove us back to my mom's condo where I was spending the night, October in NH, and I threw the keys in the back seat and left her there. I locked the door to the house. When I woke up, the car was gone and her mother had called. I called back, and she asked me if I crashed the car when I drove home because Alex told her mother I had. At that moment, I told her mother everything. All of it. 1 year ago I received an email apology about that night. She was in rehab and didn't want to reconnect but wanted to say sorry for putting me in that position. She also thanked me for being the one friend who saw her cries for help. I couldn't believe it. I'm still a little angry about it to this day. She recently sent another email saying she's been 2 years sober and she was asking if I would go with her to an alumni dinner in Boston in 2 weeks. I still haven't responded. Oof. I was actually in my old hometown during my 5-year reunion accidentally. While at a friend's house, with most of our other friends from that town present, someone mentioned that our 5-year reunion was happening right then. I pointed out that almost everyone that I liked from our class was present. No one left to go to the reunion. Apparently, there were less than a dozen that showed up. Out of a class of several hundred. I've recently decided against going to my 10-year HS reunion because I saw just about everyone on Facebook and already know what their lives are like. Not my story, but my dad's. He went to his 10-year high school reunion with my mom. Throughout the entire night, everyone would walk up to my mom and start conversation with her thinking that they had gone to school with her. She would have to introduce them to my dad. Till everybody on Reddit hated their high school. My class sent out invites on Facebook. I went to HS with my husband and he received an invite. I didn't get one until months later when someone finally noticed I was one of about 10 people they couldn't find. So I decided to let bygones be bygones and went. About 15 people showed up, including a few spouses. It was awkward since everyone that went were still friends from HS except for me and a few others. So basically we just met a few classmates at a bar for a few hours for drinks and crappy catering. Here is my best high school reunion story. I never went to one. I went to my school reunion not too long ago, and it was very weird because I was homeschooled. Just me there by a bowl of punch, listening to Kool and the Gang. Why I rented that limousine, I have no idea. Zach Galifianakis. Tripped. Fell. Took down about 4 or 5 of the popular girls. My high school sweetheart and his girlfriend are sitting 3 feet away and bear witness to my shame as my husband not only walks away but refuses to take me to the hospital for a sprained ankle. Sat the rest of the night out with my best friend who tried to shield me from my own embarrassment. Reunions only create as much drama as you let them. Remember, if you're not having fun, then stand up and walk out. What are they going to do? Went to my 5-year and 20-year reunions. The 5-year was very casual, everyone was either still in college or had just graduated. The 20-year was last year and it was a fun excuse for a trip home, even for this faggot atheist who attended Bible school in the South. I went to one recently, the jocks were fat. It was awesome. A friend of mine went to our 10-year and noted that I was listed as deceased in the program. Not sure how or why that happened, but I'm just going to leave it at that. This girl from my class that was somewhat cool with everyone but decided to run with the older boys in high school, comes up to us and says, "Hey guys, yeah, I know I got fat." It was like Jenna Jameson just slapped us across the face with her titty. We didn't know whether to be appalled or applaud. When my dad went to his 30-year reunion, a woman he hadn't seen since graduation came up to him. Her, "Hi Steve. Remember me?" Him, "Hey Pam. How are you?" Her, "Oh, I'm good. We have a 29-year-old daughter. I have her phone number if you want to call her."